So we are going to break down this game right here. There is justice in the world. There is justice in the world. The Fever won that game. And this game was mad. It was mad. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to do an entire breakdown on this game right after this. But the first thing has to be said. It is an absolute... The Chicago Sky, as a totality as a team, were an embarrassment. They were an embarrassment to the league. They were an embarrassment to basketball. And the referees were an embarrassment too. Someone explain to me how this is allowed. How this is allowed. The referees seeing in plain sight, scream "you B-word," cheap shotter, and then stare her down and say something after the cheap shot. And only give one technical foul. That is an embarrassment. That is an absolute embarrassment of a call. And then the worst part about that is the second the cheap shot happens, Angel Reese stands up to celebrate, and immediately after the timeout, after the referees are coming in, Angel Reese immediately goes and hugs Carter. Look, and then later on in the game, Caitlin Clark standing still, the ball's going in, Angel Reese hip checks her, and then immediately stands over and starts cursing her out by the looks of it, and saying something to her. The Chicago Sky team were an embarrassment. They were an absolute embarrassment. And also for the referees letting this stuff go. And then also late in the game, the referees called a phantom travel on Cardoso for absolutely no reason. So I'm not going to say the referees were like one side or the other, because the referees were just terrible. They were straight up just terrible in that game. And the fact that they went to the monitor and didn't throw Carter out of that game for that is crazy. And Caitlin Clark needs protection. If you are the WNBA, that was your showcase game. I said it. I made an entire video. Saying that I felt the WNBA should have, or not the NBA, the Fever should have pulled Caitlin Clark from this game because it was getting dangerous. And what has happened there? What has happened now? Caitlin Clark in front of the most eyes probably ever seen in a WNBA game. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the most watched WNBA game of, oh, fuck's sake, of all time. Hopefully my keyboard's not broken there. I'm after spilling a drink on myself, and that's how annoyed I am at that. That is how annoyed I am at all that. Oh no, that's not good. I need to get a towel. Sorry. Oh. But yeah, that was shocking. That was shocking. And I said it. Caitlin Clark's going to get hurt. She's not even expecting these. She's getting hit with her back turned. Like, she got hit with her back turned. Like, what people are saying about the Joakim Noah situation with Markieff Morris. That's what happened to her. And it wasn't even thrown out of the game. Like, that is a suspension. That is as dangerous as Angel Reese getting chokeslammed. And Alyssa Thomas should have been suspended for chokeslamming a player. But then again, it's been allowed. The WNBA and the referees have allowed the players, especially the rookies, to be abused as some form of a hazing. They have allowed it. And all that has now happened is that in the biggest showcase game of the year, in the game that everyone wants to see, in the game everyone has their eyes on, their superb talent in Caitlin Clark was, and by the way, chat, no, that's completely ridiculous. I'm timing out for that. Because at the end of the day, like, up until this game, and not even up until this game, like, Angel Reese has done nothing but positive. She's been nothing but positive this season. Her play on the floor has been exceptional. Go get it, like, no, time out. There's no, I'm not making personal insult. I'm not allowing personal insults in this chat. I'm just not allowing personal insults in this chat. It doesn't help anyone out. The reason why, by the way, the reason why this happened is because the refs have allowed more and more and more and more and more contact. They've allowed more and more cheap shots when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And people went too far. A team finally went too far. And as I've said in the video a few days ago, the more they let away with in games, the more they're going to let people away with, the more worse it's going, or the worse it's going to get. And players have been led away with doing more and more, like being more and more physical with Caitlin Clark to the extent it was cheap shotted. And by the way, that wasn't the first cheap shot, her getting hit. There was a play where Caitlin Clark drove to the basket. Her left arm got like yanked. And then after the referee blew the whistle, Caitlin Clark tried to off balance put in the layup. And she just got shoved. She just got shoved onto the ground. So it's not like Caitlin Clark was cheap shotted 3 times in that game. She's going to get hurt. She is going to get hurt. Any player is going to get hurt. And if this was, the worst part is, if this was an NBA player, they would be hurt. Because the players are stronger. Any of those 3, the hip check from Angel Reese, the UB word, elbow to the side of the ribs knocked down, and the shove off while going for a layup. A player gets injured doing all 3 of those things in an NBA game because the men are physically stronger. It was an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment to the league. And the fact the entire Sky team, and it's not just Angel Reese, it was the Sky team. Angel Reese was the most animated because she is just the most animated. Angel Reese is going to be, she's the ultimate hype woman for her team, for better or for worse. No matter what happens, Angel Reese is going to celebrate. She is all for her team. She is ride or die for her team. And that is one of the best things about Angel Reese, a basketball player. But in this scenario, she's just straight up in the wrong. She was straight up in the wrong. The entire team jumped up. She is not the... In fairness, actually, sorry. Elizabeth Williams didn't. Elizabeth Williams has her hands out like that, like, what, basically, like, what's going on? But more than Angel Reese got up. It was the Sky team encouraging this. They were calling this is their physical play. This is their physical play, is to basically play prison league basketball. Not even basketball, to just play prison league sports. It was an absolute embarrassment of a game from the Sky. And like late in the game, I was saying it, talking about this game. I said, get the ball as far away from Caitlin Clark as possible. Do you want to know why I said Caitlin Clark, get the ball as far away? She was shook. She is shook. It's like she's now scared to do anything because she's going to get cheap shotted. She's going to get hurt. A fair play to Caitlin Clark for the post up late in the game. But like, she's going to get hurt. And the league is allowing it. The league is allowing the biggest draw in the league to get hurt. In the biggest game of the year. This is the only thing anyone's going to be talking about. I'm not talking about the really good game of basketball that this was. And people are calling Clark a flopper. People are calling Clark a flopper. Of course she has to hit the deck because she's not getting foul calls and cheap shots. Carter stayed in the game and continued to bring them back in the game. After how in God's name she stayed on the floor. Like, it's an absolute embarrassment from the Chicago Sky. And this is a team I love. I love the Chicago Sky. I love how good they are as a team. I love how tough they are as a team. But there is a line. There is a line between being physical and hitting people in the back when they can't see it. There is a line between being Bill Laimbeer and being a physical player. And they went so far past the line today that the line is a dot to them. The line's a dot to them. And the fact is there are people defending the Sky in this chat right now. Are you listening to what you are doing? You are defending people trying to hurt people. This is not basketball. This is not sport. If this continues to happen, this league is done. This league is done. It's done if this continues to happen. Like, Caitlin Clark got hit with 3 dangerous plays in this game. Dangerous plays. Not only is she being hacked, she was hit with 3 dangerous plays. As the only thing anyone is going to talk about in this game. No one's going to talk about basketball. And that's where the problem is now. That is where the problem is. That is where the problem is going to be now. Is that no one's going to talk about basketball after this game. A game that is meant to be about basketball. And the Chicago Sky made it about anything but basketball. They've made it about anything but the sport of basketball. An absolute embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment they were.